No, I want to be a working musician and make it my career, but I haven't had any success and no one is listening to my music. No! I need to find out the secrets of the pop music elite. How did they do it?
You don't need to sacrifice your art like a bitch.
No!
The establishment music industry works on an obsolescent system that values profits over true artistic expression. You don't want to go down with that sinking ship.
No, but what am I to do?
I will imbue you with my knowledge, feeble creature.
I have the power! Yeah! Wait, is this guitar left-handed? How do I play?
Good luck learning. Bye.
No!
This is Mike the Music Snob's 11 tips for independent musicians. Number 1. Do what you're passionate about. This one may seem pretty obvious since most independent musicians are the starving artist type. Your audience will receive your work best when they know you are personally invested into it. Now, this does not mean only work on projects that are the most meaningful to you. If you expect to reach enough new ears in order to make a living, you are most likely going to have to do things other than playing your own original music. Whatever you choose, be sure that it is something that you are passionate about. Some examples of this may be taking your own progressive rock or metal set and making it into an acoustic set. Take it to an open mic and help expand some people's minds in a setting that they're familiar with. You can put covers up on YouTube, or you could do a time lapse of some kind of artisan work while your music's playing in the background. Only a real pleb would do reaction videos on YouTube though, so don't do that. Your passion will shine through and win you an audience. Number 2. You don't need a label. As we'll see further into this list, a lot of benefits that music labels provide are now more available and cheaper than ever for all of us. And the tools that are at our disposal are becoming more accessible every day. Labels assist in all facets of the music business and production. They assist you with funding, which usually comes in the form of a loan, and they give you access to their vast resources. Distribution, production, touring, the works. There's a catch though, and that catch is contracts. Once that contract is signed, you are legally obligated to abide by it. And many times the music label will wind up getting a far better deal out of that contract than the musician does. There is a lot of risk that goes into investing into an artist, especially a musical artist, so this is absolutely understandable. But remember, at the end of the day, you are not their top priority. Your success is. But their definition of success is money, not your art. Distribution is easier today than ever with sites like CD Baby and Bandcamp to host your music. Promotion and advertising on social media will capture a far larger audience than traditional advertising back in the day would have for the small underground musician. And producing your own music can even be done from your phone. It is literally possible to write, record, mix, master, and release and manage all of your websites for one album, all from your phone. Will it make you famous? Not necessarily, but you will own everything and you only have to answer to yourself. And most importantly, you do not owe anyone anything. Sure, you can have a shot of being famous if you sign with a label, but even if you do get signed, your chances of success are still slim to none. And you risk falling into debt or worse, not even owning your own music. You can make your own choice, of course, but given how many tools are at our disposal today to do it ourselves, why take the risk? Okay, so let's say you're going to tell the labels to go shove it. How do we utilize the tools around us? Number 3, learn about audio production. If you are going to be a do-it-yourself musician, this is an essential skill to have. You don't have to produce like Jack Joseph Puig to lay down a decent demo to hand to potential business partners. The better you can make your track sound, the more accurately you are conveying the song that you're trying to communicate in the first place. That will increase your chances of working with higher caliber people. The more you learn and hone this craft, the closer you become to being able to make your own finished tracks. This can save you literally thousands of dollars. Even if you're still set on recording in a professional studio, which is fine, that's actually great. Learning these skills will help you be able to communicate more effectively with your engineer and your producer, which will save you time and money. All right, so we learned audio production, we got something laid down, we exported it, and number 4, get your stuff out there and do not be afraid to fail. Get your music out there, even if your angle is YouTube, a podcast, busking on the street, start today. Fear of failure keeps many people from pursuing their passions. This fear typically stems from people's self-worth being tied to their creations, or the potential of being confronted with the reality that you're really not that good. Luckily for me, I overcame my fear with heavy doses of delusions of grandeur, so I'm set. Getting started today means you are moving forward on your journey. And seeing our failures materialized in the world presents opportunities for improvement. Just look at my early videos and the absolute cringe fest that they are. It took seeing and hearing my failures to be able to know where my weak spots were so that I could improve. It helped me refine my craft both as a video maker and as an engineer. So how do we improve our stuff once it's out there and we've identified our mistakes? Number 5, collaborate and learn from criticism. Feedback is extremely important to honing your craft, whether that's from fans, friends, family, or even pop music plebs. Being able to accept criticism and knowing when and how to properly apply it does take practice, but it is an essential trait. Some feedback will be excellent and you can apply that towards your work. Some feedback may actually be counterproductive. There are times when you're going to get too much or conflicting feedback. And at that point, I would say go with your gut. Or work with someone else. Infusing multiple perspectives into a project can help make it feel more well-rounded and comprehensive. And you increase your chances of engaging a broader audience perspective with your work. As a general rule, more hands on deck means a better product. So how do we find people to work with and to give us feedback? Number 6, utilize social media. Just about everyone who will be consuming your music will be using social media. You have millions or sometimes even over 1 billion people at your fingertips as a potential market. This is a tool that is criminally underutilized by the established music industry and presents an opportunity for us to capitalize. Be sure to have a web presence on multiple platforms. I am on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Your format may also include Instagram, Snapchat, Periscope, or other ones I'm not even familiar with. Find the platforms that work for you and work with your art, but make sure you are able to manage all of them. And let's not forget music-specific social media sites such as Bandcamp, Reverb Nation, SoundCloud, and actually there's a new one called Vamper. While I haven't had much success on those platforms myself, they are a great place to host your music, and they can present you other opportunities you wouldn't have otherwise had. Number 7, learn your target demographic. In today's indie music market, this can be kind of tough to nail down right away. So you'll want to start by casting your net broadly and see who sticks around. You'll want to start with your core theme or message and branch out your efforts from there. Like I had said, try other mediums and other formats of getting your music or your ideas out there. For me on YouTube, that is absolutely my reaction videos. They present the opportunity for me to reach the broadest audience possible on topics that they can relate to. The core or the messaging is me and my thoughts and my opinions, or even sometimes my music. I put a spin on it, or I help you look at it through my lens. Interested parties will stick around and look through, and they will tell you what they like and what they don't like. No matter how many different types of people come and flock to your work, they will have at least one unifying characteristic. That unifying characteristic is a demographic. Learn what that or multiple demographics those are, and try to find out what they are wanting. And you'll know you are really good when you give them what they want and they didn't even know that they wanted it. We have our demographic via social media and they're giving us feedback. What's next? Number 8, cultivate your audience through interaction. This is the number 1 important tool we have in the 21st century that the old guard has not been able to figure out yet. We all have an opportunity to have a voice, and that one person or entity that all of those voices are directed towards have the ability to interact with each one individually. Obviously, it is very hard if you would have millions of fans to talk to each and every one of them, but you can still engage one-on-one with more fans than you ever could before. Fans feeling a personal connection to you and your art is what keeps them there. If they are personally invested, they will want you to succeed. And that is how you go from being a flash in the pan to a mainstay. Fans who care enough to engage with you and that you care enough to engage with them will be your lifeblood as an artist. When you do interact with them, be sure that it's honest and respectful. Unless you're me in my own comments section. I'll be honest, I can be a bit of a jerk down there. There is definitely risk if you start engaging with your audience directly, but there is an enormous amount of reward if you do it correctly. Number 9, alternative monetization. The common misconception is that you know that you will be successful once you are making your money from selling your music. Who's buying? I'll be honest, of the last 20 artists you listened to, not the ones that you wanted to, just the ones that you listened to and maybe didn't even realize it, how many of them did you purchase their music directly? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say less than 2. The reality is, with how available and cheap and sometimes free music is nowadays, you're not gonna be able to make your bones by selling your music. And playing live shows can be a great way to make some cash and get your name out there. If anyone shows up. Well, in the meantime, you'll need to eat, so I would recommend employing multiple methods of monetization. I use Patreon. If you are good at what you do, people will want you to keep succeeding and they will be willing to help you out. If you present enough value for them to pay for something that would otherwise be free, that means you're doing a damn good job. And merch. Make sure it's quality. Make sure it's something people will wear more than once and that they can utilize in more than one fashion. Obtaining ads and sponsors can also assist you with maintaining a more steady income stream, but you will need a market that they can readily access. So build that audience. Number 10, goal setting and time management. If you want something bad enough, you will do what you have to make it happen. You'll need to know what that something is. Specifically, this is called an objective. Your objectives may change as you progress, but if you are headed on the right path, don't worry, this is natural. Be sure you are headed in the right direction. Objectives are good, but without a timeline, it's very easy to push these things off. When you start setting a timeline for your objectives, these objectives become goals. Goals are objectives that you strive for in a specific period of time, but you do not necessarily have to make them. If you miss your first goal, tune it back a little bit the next time around. Make it more achievable. If you hit or exceed your goal next time around, dial it up a little bit more. See how much you can push yourself. Neither goals or objectives can be obtained unless you put the time in. Being able to manage your time effectively is, again, essential. If you do not already have one, you will need to make a schedule and stick to it. This means you'll most likely need to make some sacrifices. This is where priorities come in. What's more important? Hanging out with your friends or putting in an extra hour of practice on your instrument? Catching up on your Netflix show or finishing that song that's been sitting around for 5 months? Where you choose to place your time determines your priorities at that time. If music means that much to you, you will make the sacrifices and you will put the time in. And if it doesn't, you obviously won't. Sacrifices are painful, but the next rule is the most important rule. Number 11, perseverance. I cannot emphasize enough how important this tip is. Success never happens overnight. It took blood, sweat, tears, and the all invaluable time. Link from The Legend of Zelda is my idol and favorite character for a reason. Now, in the games, he represents courage, but I mean, let's be honest, I have never met a Zelda game that I would ever legitimately find intimidating. But everyone has had that moment of getting stuck on an irritating enemy or a confounding puzzle, or in the case of some parts of Skyward Sword, you just can't find shit because it's a shittily designed game. But you keep trying because you know the reward is worth it, and you know there is a way to succeed. That is perseverance. Knowing that the reward is worth your efforts. and that you hold on to hope and faith that you can and will succeed. If you don't keep trying, it won't happen. Keep at it. Well, that's it. You are all now roided out Ryans who will go forth and destroy the establishment music industry and become successful musicians. You're welcome. Oh, if only it were that easy. All I can tell you is, if it isn't painful, it most likely isn't worth it. The only way to get better and the only way to achieve your goals is through fire. Nothing of import was achieved through ease. This has been Mike, the Music Snob. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Rock on! If you like this video, go ahead and leave a like down there, though it really doesn't mean shit, so I mean, whatever you want to do. If you want to help me make better videos, please pledge money to me monthly on Patreon. You can go to the link in the description, or if you just want to tip really quickly, you can go to PayPal, or you can buy some really cool merch, link down there to my merch store. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter at Become the Night. See you on Friday.